Hey everybody, how are you? This is Jim from the Pain PT, and I want to talk to you guys today. Just come back to the basics of pain and what the definition of pain is. The definition of pain, it was stated in the International Association for the Study of Pain. It's been operating since 1978, and they look at a lot of pain research. And the definition of pain on their website, if you go to it, is a sensory and emotional experience with or without tissue injury or potential tissue injury. So that definition is broad. It actually covers the basis for acute injuries and acute pain, which is when we have some tissue damage. It also speaks to chronic pain when it talks about an emotional experience. So, again, a sensory and emotional experience with or without tissue damage. So chronic pain, pain that goes on longer than the normal healing time, let's say for a muscle or ligament, a bone, is considered persistent or chronic. The longer the pain goes on, the more emotional it is. And so in the definition of pain, we have sensory and emotional. And people typically focus on the sensory aspect of pain. My pain feels dull, it feels sharp, it feels aching, pulsing, numbing, radiating. We tend to have our attention drawn to those qualities in the body when we feel pain. Now, what I want you guys to do, and this is what Dr. Sarno, what his work has done, is to move towards the emotional aspect of pain, not so much the sensory aspect. So within your pain, let's say within your burning or within your radiating or your aching, there's emotion. And you want to identify, if you can, what these emotions are. Okay, so one way to do this is to just simply ask yourself, how does this pain make me feel emotionally? How does this make me feel? And see what comes up. Now, we talked about where emotions come up. They come up through, they come up the body, okay, basically from that belly area all the way up, and they come out. Okay, so like for example, anger comes up here, goes to your face, and goes to your mouth. It comes out as maybe wanting to scream or yell or shout. It also goes down the arms physiologically because it's a fight response. Okay, so it's very physical. Okay, sadness, if you're feeling some sadness, disappointment, despair, hopelessness feeling, that also comes up and it's going to go to your eyes, okay, in your face, in the form of somebody maybe wanting to cry, a watery feeling in the eyes. Okay, that's sadness. And if you have anxiety or fear, that's a little bit more global, shaky energy, nervous energy. Could be in your gut, your belly, up into your heart area. People get panic attacks, they feel it here. It could be global, like a shaky feeling in the body. Okay, that's more fear based. Now, let's see if you ask yourself on a daily basis, how does this make me feel emotionally? And see what comes up in your body as maybe a different feeling in a different location than your pain. Like I said, this sort of center area up to the face and down the arms. See what you notice. See if you can tap into that a little bit as well. And you may have to ask yourself this question, how does it make me feel emotionally? Because people with TMS and people with mind-body syndrome, mental and emotional stress goes into physical pathways. So it comes out physically as sensory type pain. Now, let's go back to the definition of pain again. It's a sensory and an emotional experience. We can have an emotional injury. We can have emotional stress that comes out as sensory pain or sensory symptoms, dull, achy, sharp, burning, radiating, etc. We want to go back and flip it back into the emotional pathway if we can, because that's how a lot of this stuff has started. When there isn't an injury or it's gone on for a long period of time, the longer the pain goes on, the more emotional it becomes. And the more emotion you have in your pain, typically the more sensitive you are, typically the more intense the pain is. The people I work with, this sort of mind-body syndrome or mind-body pain, when there's a lot of emotion, is the most intense pain. It's the most like severe pain, disruptive pain. It's worse than any acute injury because there's more emotion attached to it. So I want you guys to move towards the emotion, just like Dr. Sarno said, to move past your sensory aspect of pain and see what's there. Now you can take that from your pain into your life, these same emotions. So transfer them into your life as what was going on, maybe when the time your pain started, around that time in your life. You can go back even earlier because we have a lot of research showing now that things that have happened to people like 10 years prior potentially can set up the system, if it's not processed, to have chronic pain later. Even longer periods, that's where the ACE scores come in, adverse childhood experiences. That's why people can have adverse childhood experiences, alters their brain and nervous system, can set them up for chronic health issues later in life because those emotional part of the brain has been shifted and changed. So we want to really identify and move towards the emotional. It's really quite interesting that the actual definition of pain includes the word emotional in it, yet you don't see any doctors, any healthcare people asking questions around emotions. All right, everybody. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll connect with you again soon. Bye-bye.